Hello. In this video, I will show you how to use WorldCat to locate books and book chapters that can assist you with your research papers. We're going to start at the Spanish 361 guide, which is where I recommend you begin when you're looking for scholarly sources. On the main page, you will see links to library services during COVID-19. This will take you to a page that gives you up-to-date information on the services the library is providing during this time. Another link is to information about curbside pickup of library materials. And while the libraries are closed to the public, you can still request to have books retrieved from the library, from the shelves by library staff, and then arrange to pick them up curbside at McKeldin Library. And then finally, a link to interlibrary loan services, which explains how to request journal articles and book chapters and essays not owned by the UMD libraries, and also how to request chapters of books that are sitting on the library shelves that you would like scanned and sent to you. So I'm going to give you a few examples of how to locate books and book chapters. And I'm going to start with one example, and that example is Arte Visual Barroco, Escuelas de Arte Barroco Americanas, como la Escuela de Cusco. Okay, so this is about the Baroque art in the colonies, and specifically the Cusco School of Art, which thrived in Peru during the colonial period. So what I often recommend is that you start with reference services. Now, even though you're not allowed to use them in your bibliography of your final paper, they are great ways to get background information on your topic. So here I've listed a number of encyclopedias. Many of them are online, and they will give you good overviews of many information on many of your topics. We're going to start with the Oxford Art Online, since we're looking for information on the Cusco School of Art. From here, you need to click on the link again to the database. And since these are subscription databases, what will happen is since you're searching off campus, you will be asked to authenticate with your university ID and password. And you simply put that in and you'll gain access to this and the other databases. So we're going to start by looking for information on the Cusco School. So we simply type it in as our topic, and hopefully some good encyclopedia articles will show up. And here's one right here. So we're going to click on this. And again, this just gives you a nice overview of information, background information on that particular topic. And what's especially useful in encyclopedias are the sources at the end, the bibliography. So a lot of times they will lead you to really important books on that topic. And there's one as an example that I'm going to suggest we follow through on. In addition to chapters in books and full chapters, you often will find journal references to journal articles. But we're interested in this one right here, Splendors of the New World, Spanish Colonial Masterworks from the Viceroyalty of Peru, with the idea that this book might lead us to additional information on the topic. So I've just copied the title of the article. We're going to go back to the guide, and this time we're going to see if we can find out if the library has the book. So we're going to the tab that says Finding Books, and there's the link to information about WorldCat. There's some screenshots here that give you basic information on how to use WorldCat, and it also provides a link into WorldCat. So we're going to go into WorldCat. WorldCat is the library's book catalog. It serves to find books, but also a lot of other kinds of materials. But it's the main entryway to finding books. We're looking for this particular book, so I'm basically just copying the title of the book into WorldCat, and I'm going to run the search. And sure enough, there it is. It shows up as the very first item. We're going to click on it to find out a little bit more about it. there's an indication that it's available as an ebook. And what has happened is that a lot of our print books books that we own in print format, because of the closure of the library, they're not available to students, but they've been made available as ebooks through the HathiTrust Temporary Access Collection. And this is the link to it. If you find books that are in HathiTrust, all you have to do is follow the link. It will open up a page where you are required to log in. So I've already logged in, but normally you would log in with your, make a note that you're University of Maryland College Park, continue. It will ask you to authenticate, which I'm doing right here. And then once you're logged in, you should be able to request to check out the book. Let's take a look at it down here. There's our temporary access. We're going to click on it. And then here's the option to check out the book. Only one person can access the book at a time. So when you're done with the book, it's really important that you return it. So it's taking a while, but it's basically pulling up the full text of the book, which you then can browse through and read for as long as the checkout lasts. I do want to mention that since only one person can use it at a time, if someone else is using the book, you will get a message that it's busy. Now you'll see up here, there's the option to return. So we're going to return it early so that someone else can use it. And because of copyright restrictions, the HathiTrust library is not allowed to let anyone download the full book. So your only option is to read it online. But often, if it's just a chapter in a book, it's very easy to get the information you need that way. A couple other things I want to mention. Once you're in the full record of a book, you can click on the Cite button and choose your MLA 8th edition as your citation style, and you will get the formatting of the actual book, the bibliographic information of the book in the MLA style. So you can copy and paste that into your bibliography. You always want to double check to make sure all the information is there and that it's formatted correctly, but it's a good start for getting the bibliography. The other important thing is to always look at the view description, and often you will get, not always, but often you'll get a table of contents which tells you a little bit more about what's in the book and a nice summary. In this case, there wasn't that much. However, so let's go back and let me give you another example. We're going to click on WorldCat. We're back at the main screen for WorldCat. And this time we're going to look for books on a topic of las prácticas esclavistas de la colonia, so slavery practices in the colonies. So you might want to start by just putting in your keywords. And I'm going to give you a couple of quick hints on how to maximize your retrieval. You'll notice I'm using that little asterisk after the 4 letters of SLAV. That's a truncation symbol, which allows you to search for a stem of a word and all of the words that start with that stem. So by putting the asterisk here after the V, we're getting anything that mentions slave, slaves, slavery. Same with Latin America. We get Latin America, Latin American, Latin Americans. And we're going to run the search. We're going to get a huge number of hits, and I'm going to show you in a minute how to kind of whittle this down a little bit. But you might want to just start going through the titles. These WorldCat defaults to showing what we have here at the University of Maryland first, and then it will get you a list of sources that are available not through our libraries but at other libraries, and then you can make use of the interlibrary loan request link to have the materials scanned and sent to you. But let's take a look at an example of one of the books. And you'll notice this one says it's an ebook. I'm going to again click on the title, and I'm going to open up the view description to get a little bit more information about the book. Not a whole lot, but there's something there. There's also a link to the ebook, so this one is readily available as an ebook resource. And I want to bring you back to the view description, because what this does is it identifies for you the main subject terms that describe the content of this book. A lot of times, if you click on these relevant subject headings, you will retrieve fewer results, but much more relevant results. So with this initial search, we had over 1,000 hits. I'm going to click on the subject, the main subject of slavery, Latin America history. And I'm going to end up with far fewer results, 527, still a lot, but these are going to be the most relevant materials on this topic. Okay, and you can see as we're browsing through them, a lot of them look to be pretty relevant, and actually a lot of them are ebooks owned by the University of Maryland. So this is a really good search. If you want to narrow it down a little bit more, perhaps you're looking specifically about books related to women or gender, you could add women, for instance, as another subject term and see what happens. And in this case, we get far fewer, only 23, but they're a lot more relevant. And again, a lot of them are as ebooks or books that are owned by our library. Now, I'm going to browse through. A lot of these, by the way, are actually journal articles. We're going to talk about finding journal articles in a more comprehensive way in the next video. I did want to show you an example, actually, of a book. Actually, it's on the previous page. Hold on. Okay, let's say you were interested in record number 2. Okay, I'm going to click on the title again. And this is a book that happens to be published in Spanish. So if you prefer Spanish, there is a lot of Spanish content in WorldCat. Mujeres Africanas y Afrodescendientes, Experiencias de Esclavitud y Libertad en América Latina y África. And these are the 16th and through the 19th century. Again, this is a book that our library does not own, okay? But it is available. Chapters would be available through interlibrary loan. So let me walk you through that a little bit. First thing I'm going to do is click on View Description. And in this case, you have a lot of information. You've got the table of contents of the book right there. So let's say I was interested in the first chapter. You can't see the whole thing here, but this is a nice essay on the experience of female and young women enslaved Africans in New Spain. So let's say you're interested in that particular chapter. You can request specific chapters on interlibrary loan. You would basically just click on this link, click on the University of Maryland College Park, and that will take you to an authentication page where you put in your ID and password. And what's really important when you request items, let me back up a little bit. Because of copyright restrictions, lending libraries cannot scan an entire book and send it to you, okay? Plus, a lot of publishers or libraries that own ebooks that we don't own are not allowed to, because of licensing restrictions, they're not allowed to lend the full ebook. However, very often you can get 1 or 2 chapters of a book from another library through interlibrary loan by requesting just that chapter. And again, you would simply click on the interlibrary loan, log in with your ID and password, All of the information about the book will populate into a form, an interlibrary loan form. And what you need to do is add in the notes field at the bottom of the form the specific title of the chapter that you want photocopied or scanned and sent. And that's a good way of getting chapters from other libraries that we don't own. Okay, so that's all I wanted to show you on WorldCat. I'm going to then stop here and then recommend that you view the next video. And in that video, I'm going to show you how to use the MLA International Bibliography Database, as well as several other databases to locate scholarly journal articles on your topics. So goodbye for now.